The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Rogue River Fire District 1, Oregon, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 34629. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on orientation of your new vehicle. Just under the front bumper, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks on the passenger and driver's side frame rail. Directly in the center, you'll find your unit identifier 7402. As we move around to the side of the bumper extension, you'll find on an angle your Whelen Siren PA speaker. Also on the side of the bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Moving up onto the bumper extension in the center, you'll find a tubbed storage location with dry deck material inside. D-handle gains access. Out onto the driver's side, you'll find an additional tubbed storage location with a swivel discharge located on the upper portion of the front bumper. As we move to the rear section of the front bumper, you'll find the 1.5-inch swivel discharge ball valve located in the cutout area. As we move to the front grille, you'll find emergency warning lights forward facing, headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights, and a turn indicator. As we move to the wheel, you'll find steel wheels and Goodyear tires. Moving now up onto the turn indicator located on the top of the fender near the air intake. General view of the apparatus front cab section. Let's start down first with the area where the step is located. Just underneath the step area, you'll find perimeter lighting located just under the fuel cell. As we move upward and forward, you'll find your blue DEF fill location for your DEF tank. And then just to the rear, you'll find the silver ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. As we move to the rear cab area, you'll find an additional step. Also, a D-handle gains access into this area, and perimeter lighting located just underneath the step area. D-handle will gain you access into the pull-out drawer. Let's go ahead and move now to the upper section of this drawer where you'll find your auto eject plug, 20 amp shoreline inlet. You'll also find at the very front section near the front fender your engine heater, 120 volts. On the passenger and driver's side rear of the fender well is find your release mechanism for tilting the hood, and you'll find a mirror housing a flat and convex mirror on the passenger and driver's side. As we move inside the interior door panel, you'll find all of our safety and warning information placards attached to the door panel. As we move inside the cab at the base of the seat, you'll find your master battery switch, quarter turn engages the batteries. You'll also find the yellow placard indicating from Pierce the date of manufacture, December of 2020, job number, which is your 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, your VIN number, and also all the fluid and component and fluid types. Let's move from this location to the front dash area. As we move to the left side of the front dash, you'll find your headlights and parking light. Just to the right, you'll find 2 levers. First, the lower section will be the tilt and extend. Moving upward will be your turn indicator. Let's move down to the dash cluster. First, starting on the left and right of the dash cluster is your tachometer and speedometer. Within those, you'll find oil pressure and DEF level. As we move up to the top, you'll find oil pressure, front and rear air, and fuel. Directly in the center, you'll find information regarding diagnostic engine information. Let's move just to the right of this location. This is going to be at the right knee of the operator, which is your ignition. Moving just to the right, you'll find your 4-way flashers or hazard lights. Moving further to the right, you'll find multiple switches in the very top section. These are going to be your interaxle differential lock. And to the right, you'll find your filter minder for the engine air filter. AM/FM radio located in the lower section. As we move down, you'll find the power outlets for USB and also barrel style. Moving to the right, you'll find your regen information, the yellow pull to apply your system parking brakes and push to release. Moving all the way to the right, you'll find additional USB and barrel style outlets. Let's move now down to the dash cluster. First, starting at the top, you'll find all of your tally lights, indicator lights, also a set of switches for emergency warning lights, and your pump operation switches. Moving down from that location, you'll find the electric prime, which is a push to prime. To the right, you'll find your pump pressure, which is a digital readout. And then further to the right, you'll find your water tank level indicator. And then all the way into the upper right-hand corner, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker system module. Moving toward the rear, you'll find additional storage location for all of your materials. And let's go ahead and look overhead of the driver and passenger position, where you'll find reading light and also additional storage locations. Let's move to the rear section of the cab crew area, where you'll find affixed to the door panel all of our safety and warning information placards. There are 3 seats across the rear wall of the cab. All 3 of these seats do house the ability for an SCBA. At the rear of the center console, you'll find 12-volt access via USB. On the floorboard near the rear of the seat area is where you'll find your battery charger. Once again, this will activate when plugged into shore power. Let's move to the exterior now. We'll start at the very bottom section of the pump panel. This is the location of all the discharge drains. As we move up onto the pump panel itself, we'll start at the lower section with the driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch ball valve inlet. Just to the right, you'll find the foam tank fill for draft and tank. And as we move upward from that location, you'll find the air inlet. And further to the right, you'll find the number 1 driver's side discharge. This is a 2.5-inch ball valve. Let's move up from this location. First, large diameter pump intake. Moving to the right, we have some placards located here. First, we'll start with your minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi. Just above that, the Husky 3 foam system specifications, and then also a pan door located on the far right-hand side. We'll take a look behind that door in just a moment. As we look behind the door, you'll find the yellow handle, which coincides with the instructions on the foam horizontal position and operation position on the label on the back of the door. As we move upward, you'll find a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also, a warning regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and only after they received proper training. Additional here for warning, entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. The number 1 speedlay, water and foam capable. And then to the right, your engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. As we move upward, you'll find the reel discharge. This is also a drain regarding water and foam capable discharge. As we move to the right, you'll find your electric prime. Just as a reminder, there is a caution that you should utilize this only for 1 minute due to overheat. As we move down, you'll find your tank fill and recirculating line. And then just beneath that, you'll find the tank to pump. Just a note, in is open and out is closed. Let's move up onto the very top section of the pump panel. You'll find 2 master gauges. First at the top, your pump discharge. Just beneath that, you'll find the pump intake. Moving just to the right, you'll find 2 LED water level indicators. First, the blue is for water. On the opposite side, the red is for foam. As we move to the right, you'll find an audible alarm. The outer edge of this bezel does allow you to dampen or brighten the sound. Also, a green indicator. If you've engaged your pump properly in the cab area, this will illuminate green, okay to pump. We do have a pump hour meter located on the exterior of the pump panel, and also a reel rewind push button. As we move down to the lower left, you'll find the pressure throttle governor. It is the black module on the far left. And then just to the right, you'll find the red module, which is your Husky 3 foam system. Moving further to the right, you'll find specifications and instructions regarding your foam system. You do have additional future switches located at the very bottom section, and also a panel switch to illuminate the panel area. Just to the right, you'll find vacuum and pressure. These gauge test ports are plugged and are for testing purposes. Let's move now to the booster line, which is directly above the pump panel. You'll also find on the outer edge of that booster line a free tension spool knob. Let's now move to the body of the apparatus. We'll identify a few items within this area. Let's first start with the rear wheel. You do have Goodyear tires, and they are duals and also steel wheels. As we move upward from this location, you'll find SCBA bottle storage just in front of the rear axle for 2 SCBA bottles. As we move to the very top compartment, you'll find a outlet. When plugged into shoreline power, that outlet will become active. A tool board, which D-handle will gain you access to the rear section of the tool board. Once it is open, it will lock into position, requiring you to manually unlock to restore back to its original position. The lock is located on the hinge side. Let's take a quick look at the very top section. This is where you're going to find that shoreline outlet, 20 amp. Let's move directly above this compartment where you'll find a side-facing scene light. As we move to the rear of the axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage location. Now to the very bottom section of the rear compartment, you have an additional storage drop-down door in this area, also an emergency warning light. As we move upward from this location into the next compartment, you'll find dry deck material and LED lighting in this area, and also a pull-out tray at the bottom section. That tray will lock into position. The release mechanism is on the right-hand side. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. We'll start in the lower section with the 2 rear mud flaps. Moving up from this location, you'll find a drop-down step. Let's go ahead and move upward from this location. You'll find your tailboard and also an emergency warning light and the start of your brake, turn, and reverse lights. Moving now to the top, we'll find a few warning placards. First, fall hazard. Do not ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. If you are climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle while climbing. And also a warning regarding entanglement hazard. The hoses that are coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. As we move up to the very top, you have an outer section door which allows you for storage location and also access into that compartment from the top section of the vehicle. Let's go ahead and move up onto the top of the vehicle toward the dunnage area where you'll find a compartment storage area, ventilated, and also D-handle gains you access. On the left is your Husky foam system, hydraulic system. On the right, you have additional storage. As we move further back, you'll find your 2 tank fill locations, which is the tank A foam. There is an indicator here regarding warning. Do not mix different brands or consistencies for the possibility of foam failure. To the right, you'll find your water tank top fill location. As we move just to the right, you'll find additional storage locations on the top of the vehicle. D-handle will gain you access into those locations. As we move now to the rear of the apparatus, let's start first on the left-hand side at the rear of the apparatus with a warning label. Pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. You'll also find a 2.5-inch discharge. Directly in the center, a 2.5-inch direct tank fill. And then to the right, you'll find an 1.5-inch discharge. Even further to the right at the very outer edge is where you'll find your backpack fill. As we move to the right-hand side of the vehicle from the rear, you'll find directly in the center 2 access doors, gain access to the rear compartment, adjustable shelf. As we move to the right-hand side, you'll find your brake, turn, and reverse light and an emergency light. D-handle gains you access into your compartment for ladder storage. As we look inside at the very top section, you'll find 2 long-handled storage locations and additional ladder storage in this compartment. Just above that, you'll find long-handled tool storage with top access also. Let's go ahead and move around to the passenger side of the vehicle. We'll start down at the very bottom. Pierce logoed mud flaps, also once again Goodyear tires and steel wheels. These are duals in the very back. As we move to the rear of that dual, you'll find an emergency warning light and then also a drop-down storage location. Let's go ahead and move up to the next compartment here, which is your very rear compartment. At the very top section of this compartment, you'll find a rear-facing emergency warning light. As we look inside the compartment, you'll find adjustable shelves, LED lighting, and ventilation. And there's the light at the very top section, which is your emergency warning light. Just to the rear of the axle, you'll find additional SCBA bottle storage. This does mirror the opposite side of the truck. You'll also find storage location, adjustable shelves directly over the axle, LED lighting, and in this compartment you'll find a shoreline outlet This is a 20 amp. When plugged into shore power, this will become active. Just in front of the rear axle is where you'll find your exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Be careful where you park your vehicle, especially during regen. Just above that, you'll find SCBA bottle storage location just in front of the axle, and at the very top section, you'll find a side-facing scene light. Let's go ahead and move now to the pump panel area midsection. First, let's start at the bottom section where you'll find your drain valve for your passenger side auxiliary inlet. As we move upward, this is the 2.5-inch female auxiliary inlet with a ball valve and control arm. As we move also up, you'll find some warning placards here regarding entanglement hazard and pressure hazard, along with your Darley placard. Also, the 2.5-inch speedlay foam capable is located here. It is a 2.5 reduced to 1.5 inches. You also have additional lung storage in the compartment next to the pump panel. There is a real rewind for your passenger side red line located at the very top section. Lift and turn latch gains access behind the pump panel for additional maintenance. Let's go ahead and move now to the entire cab area. Same configuration as the driver's side, but we'll go ahead and move through those items now. Let's go ahead and start at the very bottom section of the cab area where you have additional storage location. D-handle gains you access into this area. Also, as we move into the crew area, you'll find affixed to the door panel all of our safety and warning information placards. Once again, there are 3 seats against the rear wall of the cab. All of those have SCBA brackets located within the backrest. As we move forward to the officer seat, you'll find that seat is also a SCBA bracketed seat. Let's go ahead and move back exterior now to the front of the officer's area. As we move into this step area, you'll find additional perimeter lighting and step lighting in this area. As we move into the cab door, you'll find all of our safety and warning information placards affixed to the door panel. This seat does ride on a seat riser, which allows you to have a additional storage location under the bottom section of the seat. The seat is adjustable front to rear, and once again, it does have an SCBA bracket in the backrest. As we move to the dash area and look overhead, you'll find push on and off white lens lights for your reading light, and then also additional storage. Let's go ahead and take a look at the A-pillar where you'll find an additional grab handle for getting access in and out of the cab. We're now exterior to the rear portion of the front fender where you'll find the release mechanism for tilting the cab. Just as a reminder, remove anything obstructing the front tilt area. You do have mirrors located on this side, convex and flat, and also as a reminder, Goodyear tires, steel wheels. As we move now to the front of the fender, at the very top section is where you'll find your turn indicator. As we move around to the grille in the headlight structure, you'll find low and high beam headlights and a turn indicator marker lamp. On the front bumper extension, side-facing emergency warning light, swivel discharge, 1.5 inches located in the very front, and also an on-off ball valve location. Reach through and you'll find the valve handle. As we move around to the side, you'll find your side-facing siren and PA speaker system in the cutout area. As we move to the front section top area on the bumper extension, you'll find hose storage location also on the passenger side. General view of the apparatus. Congratulations, Rogue River Fire District 1, Oregon, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 34629. If you have any questions about your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.